In this video, we'll see the most valuable player of each country in Europe. Starting with the country with the least valuable players, the Vatican City. Well, this one is literally zero. No player was born there. So we're gonna group each country into categories. 0 to 900,000 euros, 1 to 9 million, 10 million, 20 million, all the way up to the most valuable players in the whole continent. Quick note, all these values come from the German website Transfermarkt. Now in this 0 to 900,000 category, we also have San Marino, Liechtenstein and Andorra. Yeah, San Marino is known as the worst national team in Europe, so no wonder their most valuable player doesn't even surpass 100k. Now from Liechtenstein is the center back Lars Strauber, worth 250,000 euros. But before moving on to the next category, there's Andorra, with their most valuable player being the keeper Iker Alvarez, who actually plays for Villarreal. He's valued at 800k, which might seem a lot, but for a football player it's nothing, literally hundreds of times less valuable than other players we'll see here. But now let's level up to the 1 to 9 million euros category. Much better, but still quite low. This is the biggest category, with 10 countries: Latvia, Azerbaijan, Belarus, Cyprus, Estonia, Moldova, Lithuania, Malta, Finland and Bulgaria. What stands out is Azerbaijan. They literally have 10 million inhabitants, but their most valuable player is worth less than 2 million, the winger Akundzada from Karabakh. Besides that, Bulgaria is a country that even had a Ballon d'Or winner in the past. But today, its most valuable player is only worth 8 million euros, playing as a winger for PAOK FC. What a downfall. But now let's move on to the next category, the 10 million euro range. Here we find 4 countries. North Macedonia has the midfielder Elmas, who plays for Torino, worth 14 million euros. While Montenegro has Prestovic and Albania has midfielder Christian Aslani. But what's really surprising here is Luxembourg. This is a really tiny country, ranked 91st in FIFA's ranking, yet it has a player worth 15 million euros, Leandro Barreiro. He's a midfielder of Portuguese descent who plays for Benfica, but he represents Luxembourg. Now let's raise the bar to move to the 20 million euro category, where we find literally 11 countries. Armenia's most valuable player is worth 20 million, followed by Bosnia, Iceland and Greece. Iceland's population is less than 400,000, yet they have a player in this category. Alongside Iceland, there's Austria with Limer and Danso, Bradley from Northern Ireland, followed by Romania and Russia. But the most surprising country here is Monaco. Monaco is tiny, they don't even have a professional national team. But if they did, they'd have the midfielder Olivier Boscagli. This PSV defender has a market value of 27 million euros, making him the most valuable player that was born in Monaco. Still in this category, we have other 2 countries, Czechia with Patryk Cech and Poland with Matty Cash. The Polish right back is the most valuable in this category, but we're still far from other countries, so let's move on to the 30 million euro category, where we find just 2 countries, Slovakia and Ireland. Yeah, the most valuable from Slovakia is the center back Hanko from Feyenoord, worth 32 million. And at that same value, there's the 20-year-old Ivan Ferguson from Ireland. He actually had a much higher value, but now his stats are not as good. By the way, these market values takes into account stats, injury history, age and many other factors. So now let's move on to the 40 million euro players. This is already another level. Here we find 6 countries: Scotland, Turkey, Switzerland, Ukraine, Denmark and Serbia. Yeah, Ukraine has a 40 million euro center back, Ilya Zabarny, who plays for Bournemouth. Now from Scotland, their most valuable player is McTominay, the former United player who's now in Napoli. Meanwhile, from Switzerland, there's the keeper Gregor Kobel. Yeah, Kobel is not only the most valuable from his country, but he's actually the most valuable keeper in the world alongside Raya from Spain. Now from Serbia, we have Vlahovic, and from Denmark, there's now 1, but 2 players. The defensive midfielder Human and Rasmus Højlund. Both are worth 45 million. But Denmark is not the only one with 2 guys. Turkey also has 2 players at that same value. Kenan Yildiz, who plays for Juventus, and Arda Güler. Crazy to think that there is still 4 times less valuable than other players we'll see here. Now let's step up again, moving to the countries with players valued at 50 million euros. But in this category, there's only 1 country, Wales, with the winger Brennan Johnson from Tottenham. He's super talented, having over 60 career goals. Any club would love to have him. But now let's go even higher, to the 60 million category. And here we find 2 countries, Belgium and Slovenia. If you thought of Kevin De Bruyne for Belgium, well, due to his age, he's actually not the most valuable. It is Luis Openda from Bayer Leverkusen. But playing in the same club as him, there's Benjamin Sesko from Slovenia. At just 21, Sesko is pulling great numbers this season. He's at the peak of his market value. Moving on, we arrive at the 70 million category. From here on, we enter the top 12, only the elite. So we find 3 countries: Portugal, Croatia, and the Netherlands. Well, for the Netherlands, there's not just one player, but actually 3. Gakpo and Gravenberch from Liverpool and Xavi Simons. Yeah, 3 players. Netherlands squad is actually pretty solid. Then for Portugal, a lot of people would guess Ronaldo, but of course, because of his age, his market value is much lower than it once was. So the most valuable footballer from Portugal is Rafael Leão. The AC Milan winger was actually even more valuable, but still 75 million is a lot. And just like Portugal, from Croatia it's not Modric, rather it's Vardiel from Man City, also valued at 75 million. But now let's continue, arriving in the 80 million euros category, officially entering the top 9 countries. And 3 of them are in this category: Italy, Hungary, and Georgia. Yeah, while their neighbors Azerbaijan have their most valuable player at just 1.8 million, Georgia has a player valued at 80 million. Shiva Kvaratskhelia. In 2023, he helped Napoli win the Italian league with 25 goal contributions. Now at 24 playing for PSG, he has a big market value. His talent is simply out of this world. Then from Italy, the 2 most valuable players for the same team: Nicolo Barella and Bastoni from Inter Milan. What a squad! Bastoni is at the peak of his market value, just like Hungary's player, Szoboszlai. As Liverpool's midfielder, he was extremely important for them to win the Premier League, so his market value increased. Moving on to the next category, there's a gap from 80 to 100 million. But here, there's just one country: Sweden, with Alexander Isak. At 25, Isak is pulling amazing numbers for Newcastle, surpassing over 20 goals this season and winning the first trophy Newcastle won in 70 years. But even at 100 million, he's still not in the top 5. Now we have to make a big jump, from 100 to 140 million. And here we find only one country: Germany, which has several top-class players, with one of the most promising being Jamal Musiala. His 140 million euros value is well deserved. He has incredible stats for Bayern, having almost 100 goal contributions in his career at just 22. Plus his skills are an spectacle apart. But Musiala is not alone. There's another German alongside him, Florian Wirtz. Just 3 months younger than Musiala, he became one of the most valuable players in the world when he made history with Bayer Leverkusen, helping them win the Bundesliga unbeaten, with 38 goal contributions that season. Now after them, we arrive at the 170 million category, with also just one country: France, with Kylian Mbappe. Mbappe was a massive signing for Real Madrid, as he went there on a free transfer. He started a bit slow, but now he's flying. He's Madrid's top scorer this season. His market value was 180 million. I'm sure he'll return to that value very soon. But now let's move on to the players valued at 180 million. Crazy to think that this is still not our number 1. So here we have 2 countries. One of them is England, with Jude Bellingham. In the 2023-24 season, in which he won the Champions League, he had 36 goal contributions in 43 games, finishing in 3rd place for the Ballon d'Or. And he's just 21, that's crazy. But even more impressive is the player alongside him, Lamine Yamal, the most valuable player from Spain. What this guy did at the UEFA Euro was just insane. He had 5 goal contributions, one of them from outside the box against France in the semi-final. Also, this season for Barcelona, he surpassed 30 goal contributions. All that at the age of just 17. He's not even considered an adult yet. By the 2030 World Cup, he'll be 23. So many people think that he should be the most valuable player. But up to the recording of this video, according to Transfermarkt, the most valuable player in all of Europe, valued at 200 million, is the Norwegian striker Erling Haaland. At 24, Haaland has already scored over 250 goals in his career. In the 2022-23 season, he scored 52 goals, and in the 2023-24 season, he scored 38 goals. By the time this video is being recorded, he has 138 goal contributions in 138 games from Man City. That consistency gives him the record for the most valuable player in Europe. Just a disclaimer, by the time you are watching this video, these market values might have been already updated. And if you enjoyed this video, check out this other one that I posted. Thanks for watching and bye!